Well, speaking of not okay, you want to
Uh-oh.
dive into this
You
this
shut your
film
mouth right
thing?
now.
Yeah,
It's something.
it is something. I mean, I had not seen this movie in a long while.
I
And
think the last time I watched it was the last time we covered it.
Oh, no.
So what's that? 7 years
did
ago?
we cover it in our original?
In
Did
our
we?
original
Yeah.
I didn't even
incarnation, yeah.
remember that. I didn't even remember
But yeah, it was like one of the last ones we did.
What will be unfortunate is if you go back and listen to it and be like, oh, that was a really great point I could have made.
Actually,
And
you were better 7 years ago.
that. Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to another exciting episode, our almost Thanksgiving episode of the Sanctum Sanctorum podcast, where comics and Christ culture collide. I am one of your hosts, Chris.
I am one of your hosts, Joey.
And today we have a extra special side dish of a guest for you. The
The OG returns.
OG returns from our very first incarnation, the incomparable Alexis Slade. So please give her a round of applause that we can't
Thank
hear. You could plug that in right there.
Oh, I got you. Editing movie magic. Lex, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I am so honored and excited to be with you guys. You know, I love being a part of this. So,
This is a long time coming. But for our listeners who have no idea who you are, give us a little bit about who you are, where you're coming from, and some of the stuff you're up to.
okay. So I feel that I should start with the fact that I am a mom of two, very sweet and wildly different boys. My oldest, Noah, is my hippie artist activist kid, and my little one, Levi, is my rough and tumble gamer. So very different. They love comics like their mother, though they love them in different ways. Noah's gonna be like our Doctor Strange vibe, and Levi was just Venom for Halloween. So we've
Awesome.
got two very different kids, but they're giving me the best of both worlds, which I love. I personally am an actor, director, performed professionally for a while, and then shifted to teaching acting. And I am now at Paper Mill Playhouse. Over the last couple of years, I took on the role of senior manager of outreach programs. And so it's just a job I'm really grateful to have because I get to kind of, again, live in both worlds. I have this sort of service side of it that really speaks to my heart. Going into schools and spaces and communities that don't have access to art in the same way that a lot of us do. And so I get to bring that to them. And I am, just hanging around with a bunch of grown up theater kids, which is what I love. So it's a little bit about what I'm up to and who I am.
That's awesome.
Living the dream.
Yeah,
At
very
what
much so.
age do you still like? And I still do it, but having grown up a theater kid, like you, at what age do we stop calling ourselves theater kids, and are we like theater, middle agers or theater seniors? I feel like the answer is never, but
Never. I agree. I was going to say, as soon as I heard theater seniors, theater adults, it's like, no, we're theater kids.
theater kid, because
Like,
that's where the joy comes from.
yeah, totally. Very proud to be part of that tribe.
Absolutely.
I am not a part of that tribe. I've always appreciated it, but I always thought like, oh yeah, I could do that. And then like my first play, it was like, no, no, you cannot.
Not an
Just
actor.
now you're a musician, you do your thing, you've got other gifts, but Broadway's not one of them.
Which I admire so much. I have to say that, like, it's funny, even as a theater kid, I will spend most of my money on a concert
Yeah.
before I will go to a Broadway show. Love theater, of course, but I just have such respect for musicians. I am not a musician, so I think it's just I look at you
That's
guys,
such
both
a
of you,
lie.
in awe. mean, I'm a singer, you know, and that is, I guess, me being a musician in some way, but I just think that musicians are the coolest. So.
Yeah, we got our own problems. As does the movie we're covering today, which, if you're not familiar or haven't read the title of this episode, we are covering, what year did this come out, Chris?
1985.
That's not true.
No.
What year did the movie come out, Chris?
The movie. I'm so sorry. The movie was 2009. The graphic novel on which it was based was 1985.
There she is. We're covering Watchmen today, and I got a plot synopsis that's going to kick your face.
Zack Snyder's magnum opus.
One could call it that. That's certainly something one could say. I'm going to cue the foreboding music. Here we go.
Go for it.
Now, much of this movie is not kid-friendly, so I have to make a kid-friendly synopsis and change out some words because this is a family show.
Mm-hmm.
Dysfunctional family.
Do your best.
Very dysfunctional. It's 1985. Nixon's still president, the Cold War never ended, and superheroes have been put in a timeout because... who knows? A masked vigilante named Rorschach investigates the unalivement of a hero called the Comedian, who's basically what happens if Captain America was raised by a pack of cigars. As Rorschach digs deeper, he discovers a conspiracy involving old teammates, global politics, and Dr. Manhattan, a glowing blue god with no pants, allowing the audience to see his entire Department of Internal Affairs. I was really happy with that.
That was really good.
I mean, it's really good.
That was really good.
Meanwhile, Ozymandias, the smartest man alive, decides the only way to save humanity is to place a few million people in the afterlife advantage place. It's basically world peace Thanos Edition. Mm-hmm. What will the world do when Dr. Manhattan pieces out to Mars, Rorschach gets vaporized, and the only thing left to unite humanity is trauma? Join us in a film adaptation so faithful to the source material, the author refused to put his name on it or be associated in any way in 2009's Watchmen. Dun, dun, dun.
Wow.
Okay.
I am impressed. I am impressed.
Thank you.
It was great. The Department of Internal Affairs was really good. But let's just clear one thing up here. Alan Moore didn't.
He wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah, but it wasn't because they were adapting this. He wanted nothing to do with it because of what they had already done with V for Vendetta, and especially what they had done with the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Right.
So he said, from now on, I don't want my name attached to any media, any other media that they do of my work. So it wasn't that like, oh, you're doing Watchmen, forget it. It was, he already had, divorced himself from all of that.
To quote the Black Panther, I don't care.
I don't care.
There is some good stuff, but who's in this movie, Chris?
In this movie, we have a huge star-studded cast of Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Malin Ackerman, Patrick Wilson, Carla Gugino, Matthew Good, Jackie Earl Haley, Billy Crudup, and was directed by the one and only Zachary Snyder.
I will give the devil his due. I often don't say actors' names because I don't know how to say them, and you, time after time, episode after episode, just plow through with a confidence. And I don't know if you're right, but you're confident. So
sounds like you are.
I mean,
shouts out.
I feel right, and that's the best kind of right.
And that's really all that matters. Like we said, there's some good stuff in this movie. Beauty before age. Lex, you are first. Give us some stuff that you liked about this movie.
Okay, so I am true to my director form. I have notes. I am going to read. Like, is she reading? Yes, she's reading. Okay? Just so we put it out there. All right. So what do I love? Feels like we're flipping through the pages of a graphic novel, watching the movie. Okay? Love. I always am a sucker for like a dark, grungy vibe. It is hitting that mark, checking that box for me. Love it. Cinematography, I think, is gorgeous, personally.
Agreed.
It's really, really great. The really cool shots and choices. I love the slow motion moments and like the fight scenes. I mean, in the very beginning, right? Like when the comedian is thrown out the window and we have that frozen frame. It's just chef's kiss. Love it. I think the score across the board is awesome. I don't really have any problems with the choices
My
there.
God, the needle drops are fantastic in this.
It's just gorgeous. The very beginning scene again, like unforgettable, playing under that fight scene is just
That's
right?
brilliant.
It's brilliant.
Even as I was watching it again, like I've seen it and it's like, okay, yeah, I know what's coming. But as I sat there, I'm now looking at it with the podcaster eyes, and it's like, what a choice. And it's a really good one, and it's saying something without being over the top.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things.
I love it. The dialogue is super poetic and powerful, right? One-liners, making a lot of strong statements. I think the rhythm and the way that, like, of the delivery of the lines also feels like I'm reading a comic book, which I really like. The activist in me, of course, loves the themes. I feel like, again, very powerful statements being made, very thought-provoking. It's the kind of film that I want to watch, a couple times, maybe not that much because it's long as hell. But yeah, I mean, I think just the world that's created for us, I'm into it. I like it. I think it's visually stunning, pleasing to the eye, pleasing to the ear. And I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan, by the way. I'm a Negan fan.
He is so good.
Love me some little pig, let me in. Okay.
Little pig,
Love
little
me some.
pig, let me in.
Still creeps me out.
So yeah, that's my thoughts, peeps.
Chris, what do you got?
I mean, you covered almost everything that I had. So to get a little more specific with things, I love Ozymandias's villain monologue at the end where he goes through the motions of like, here's the big comic book villain monologue, and then makes clear, like, do you really think I would tell you my whole plan just so you could stop me?
Genius.
I activated it 33 minutes ago. Like that was great stuff. The costumes, the makeup, the effects, again, they walked right off the page. And the very small changes they did make were perfect changes to modernize them slightly. The ending is something that we need to talk about. So this is a like 95% faithful adaptation. However, in the comic, what happens at the end is Ozymandias, as part of his plan, wasn't to create a giant energy field that mirrored Dr. Manhattan's. He basically created a giant monster, and that's what brought the world together. It looked very much like
It was a
Starro.
squid, right?
Yeah, it was like a giant squid, starfishy kind of thing. So, I mean, picture, if you saw the Suicide Squad, picture Starro, essentially. And that was what kind of brought the world together. However, the movie ending, I think, is an improvement for the story. I think having the world unite against its, what everybody looked at as an American god, essentially, I think was the right ending for the movie, because the story that they were telling on screen, I think a giant squid at the end would have just taken you right
Yeah.
out of it. Like, that's just something that the average viewer of this kind of movie would have balked at. And then all the groundwork you laid, and like you said, Lex, all of the really poignant moments and powerful lines and talks about equality and humanity and patriotism and all these things would have been just lost,
Right.
because now you have to contend with a giant squid that this guy invented. This was much better.
He was saying too much to just throw it away at the end.
Agreed.
And I'm glad they made that change.
And it works on the page, that wouldn't have translated well to screen. Speaking of the when you were speaking about the music, to me the opening credits with the times they are changing, and you see
Yes.
That's
you
a
see the
mini
original. Oh my God, it's
masterpiece.
its own little movie of the story of the original Minutemen and what they went through, and you had I don't. I'm going to get ahead of myself, but that whole thing of what happens to all those heroes because of the lives that they were leading and the secrecy that they had in the time period in which they were a team and superpowered, is just its own compelling story. And if you've seen the TV show, which is a sequel to the comic, not the movie, with Regina King and
Yeah.
Nelson, the guy who played the leader, Tim Blake Nelson, is in that too.
Tim Blake Nelson. Yeah.
It's phenomenally done, but they go back and you see some of the stuff with Hooded Justice and Silhouette and some of these other characters and what was going on racially and within the country at that time, and why they had to be the heroes and not so heroes as that they were. So that whole opening thing is its own beautiful story.
It is.
And then the finally, I'm not going to get into too many specifics because I feel like those are going to be some of the things that Joey didn't like.
Give it time,
But I
baby.
really like how we see Doctor Manhattan's loss of humanity over time. I think it's done really interestingly, and it's very sad. It's very Shakespearean. It's very it's a tragic story that he's telling, and he seems to leave all the emotion of it for the audience because Dr. Manhattan has almost no emotion. Everything is just so matter of fact. That
Right.
like you're left with feeling all of the feels that he should be
Hmm.
feeling about these deaths and these breakups and these things that he is or is seems to be responsible for. And I think it's played really well. I think it's written and done really, really well.
Yeah. His monologue about the accident, where it's told like out of time, it's
Yeah.
so again poetic and like interesting to watch and
Yeah, and
heartbreaking.
everything being
Because
said
you're
as
right.
if he's living it in that moment, where it's like, it is
Yes.
1944 and we have our first kiss. It is 1965 and I'm
Yeah.
meeting the
Yeah.
Minutemen, and like that's done so
Right.
well.
It really is. Yeah. It's one of my favorite parts of the film.
All right, Yosef.
You guys took mostly everything. But the other two things that I have are just two lines that I felt encompassed the beauty of the writing, the beauty of the screenplay, but also the awareness it had of itself. The first is what happened to the American dream. It
Mm,
came true.
Mm-hmm.
It's like drop the mic, needle
Yeah.
drop right there. Like, okay, think about that for just a second. It's so poignant. It's so powerful. Um, it's a great line. And then there's there's the scene where Lori and Dan are at a restaurant.
Mhm.
I was watching it in my headphones, and there's a line where somebody goes, "I'm glad I ordered the four-legged chicken."
I'm glad I ordered the four-legged chicken.
Oh, really? Missed that.
Yeah. I had the captions go back
definitely
on, and I
missed
was
that.
like, they're just so self-aware of like they're trying to be funny in a world that is taking itself to the
Hmm.
utmost seriousness.
Yeah.
But like something like that, I think was just really self-aware. And it just
Right.
sort of brought a little bit of levity to like, no, this is depressing and dark and haunting and brooding. Oh, and by the way, there's a four-legged chicken in this world. I just thought it was great.
And I mean, in a world
Love
where
it.
you have, world's smartest men and, American gods and all these kinds of things, why wouldn't you have a four-legged chicken? Why not?
Why not? Why
Right.
That's
not?
all you have for good. Well,
So
I
that
guess we
wraps up
kind
the
of
good
took
stuff.
everything else.
Yeah. Do you want to jump to other stuff? Actually, do you have any other stuff?
I have a couple of other stuff that also is kind of some background about the Watchmen universe. So why don't
Of course you do.
yes. So why don't you guys do your other, and then I'll go into my history lesson.
Great.
Okay. So I think what lives in that place for me is it's like what I love about it is also what makes it a little too dense and a little exhausting. If that makes sense. Like,
There it is.
I think that's probably, is it too long? Not necessarily. If you're into it, it's fine. But like, do I feel like what they're saying is important stuff and like, again, thought provoking and worth hearing at least once? Yes. Do I leave after watching it feeling just like overwhelmed with sadness and just like it was too much information? Yes. Like I think I wish that it was tightened up a little bit. I think it would have been stronger if we went in there, like put some things on the chopping block. What exactly? I don't know. Like that's where and I probably have to go back and really look at it like with that director's eye to say, what would I cut? Or like as a writer, what could I have lost and still have the story? I don't really know the answer, but I just know that it just feels dense. It feels like a lot,
I agree.
to process.
No, that's fair. It's not for your average watcher to a degree. And this is gonna go into my bad, so I'll expound on it more in that section. But I think it came out at the wrong time. Like I think the movie itself was released at the wrong time. And I'll go.
It's not for your average Watchman.
So, yeah.
Waka waka. Waka waka waka.
I've got two things that were just other for me. Dr. Manhattan's voice, I don't like it.
Oh.
It's not powerful enough.
Isn't that Billy Crudup?
It is. Yeah.
It is. But it's not, he's not putting anything on. And so it's very true to his soft-spokenness.
Yeah.
But I think that was the point because it needed to sound indifferent. Because Dr. Manhattan became indifferent.
He does. However, and this is not a flaw of the comic. When I read it for the first time, that's not the voice that was in my head.
Okay.
So I couldn't get out of that bold, commanding, commandeering voice that I paired with the visual. And so when Billy Crudup shows up, it's like,
Whose voice would have like really done it for you? Like who are you hearing?
Believe it or not, James Earl Jones.
Oh.
I wouldn't hate that, actually. I could definitely see that.
That's what I heard.
Okay. It's interesting.
That's
I don't feel the same way. I think I actually think that the voice that he has is like haunting in some weird way. Like it's
I will give you
like
that.
What Chris was saying, it's like a little too easygoing. I don't know if that's the right description, but like there's something about it that makes it haunting.
And it definitely got to that place for me, like particularly when he's like, leave me alone, and then, skips out to Mars. When he's raising his voice, that's when I'm like, okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
But we didn't have, and that was a progression of the character. And so we only would have that for such a short amount of time. But I just felt like, the entire time he's just like, well, it almost reminded me of 2001 Space Odyssey. Where he's like, I'm sorry, Dave, I can't do that. Good morning, Dave. Like that's the voice that it sounds like to me. And I just couldn't separate the two. Again, not a terrible thing. It just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
The other thing that I didn't like is the constant reading from the Rorschach diary. It's just a little much, and he's leaving out basic words, and it's like, are you a toddler? Are you a teenage girl? Or are you Michelle Obama writing a memoir? Like, what is this?
Yeah, I never understood that writing style from Rorschach. Is like, do you remember in the Office episode where like, why use many word when short word make good?
That's exactly all I thought.
Yeah, that is kind of what it's like.
That to me is like that's for me it sounds like reading a comic, like shorthand. That's how I hear it. It's like just what you need to hear. It's not a whole lot. Like, he's not a man of very many words, though kind of, yes, because this diary goes on forever. But
And it is. It's not a journal. It's a diary. And there's a difference.
my thing with that,
It's read the way you would write it.
It's read the way the character speaks.
yes,
So it works for him.
it does work for him.
I think if I'm going to complain about it, it happened too much.
Okay.
Mhm.
Like, if it's its
I
own
get that.
thing, okay, cool. It's a stylistic choice. It doesn't work for me, but it happened
Right.
a lot.
It did happen a lot. Yeah, like
So I needed a break from that.
absolutely. And I will say, like, even that, here again, what I love, what I hate, like, it's very poetic. There are pieces of it that I'm like, woo, that is really cool what you said there. And then it slides into being cheesy. You know, like, this is not doing it for me anymore.
Nope.
You know, and it just kind of goes in and out of that. So I kind of agree.
You'll ask me to
There
add
you go.
more words, and I'll whisper, no.
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 That part kills me, actually. Like, really? That's the answer? And I'll whisper, no? We had nothing more interesting than that? Oh, come on.
Yeah, a man of few words.
All right, Chris, you're up.
All right, so for my other, now originally when Watchmen came out, it was believed to be unfilmable. They didn't think anybody would be able to tackle it. And again, like many comic book movies, all you needed to do was look to the pages because there's a storyboard. And that's what Zack Snyder finally did.
Yeah.
Now, these became original characters, but based on existing characters. So there was a company called Charleston Comics, and Charleston Comics was bought out by DC. Charleston had characters that we've since become familiar with, like Blue Beetle, Peacemaker, The Question, Captain Atom, and he originally wanted to use those characters, but because of the story that Watchmen was going to be telling, many of these characters would have died, would have left the planet or the universe, and would have become villainous. So when DC bought it, they said, no, we don't want you to use it because that will make them unusable to us. We'll have to incorporate this into the whole DC universe and into what we're working on now, which was Crisis on Infinite Earths. So if you look at the characters and who they're compared to, Rorschach is the Question. Night Owl is
Batman.
Night Owl. Well, yes, Night Owl is Batman, but also Blue Beetle.
Remember when your mom would say, "Oh, we have that at home"?
Yes, that's like, yeah, that's
Night
exactly what
Owl
this
is "We have that at home" Batman.
Now, if you've watched the Peacemaker TV show with John Cena, that is the comedian was meant to be Peacemaker, and they are like two, like the same side of the same coin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
It was so influential. It is the only graphic novel that has ever been included in Time Magazine's 100 Greatest Novels of All Time.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it was influential enough that DC eventually said, you know what, these characters are important enough that we need to start incorporating them. So they released Doomsday Clock, which involved Batman and the Flash finding the comedian's bloodstained button. And these Dr. Manhattan was starting to meld these universes together. And so a new Rorschach and Ozymandias made their way over to Gotham City. And these worlds kind of collided, which is a really good story. They also released Before Watchmen, which gave you some backstory on your main Watchmen characters. Rorschach got his own miniseries. But I think easily the most effective tie-in media to Watchmen was the HBO miniseries that they did. They invented some really great new characters like Looking Glass and Sister Night. They brought in a very what do you call it? What do you call it when you've like kind of lost the appeal of something has been lost?
Suicide Squad?
Shut your mouth. I can't think of the word, and now I feel annoyed about
Lost
it.
the appeal of something?
But it's
When something's lost the appeal.
Yeah, where like the appeal of the appeal or the joy of something in life has been lost, and you just become very like cynical.
Apathetic?
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but cynical works because I can't think of the word I'm trying to get to. You have a Lori who has become a very cynical and older woman now who works for the police. You have Ozymandias, who is older and has been exiled to one of Jupiter's moons. You have a Dr. Manhattan who has lost his identity and no longer knows who he is. And this is against, you have hooded justice and racism in the 40s into the 60s. You have a lot of the things we're seeing now when it comes to racial equality, gender equality, and all these things are being addressed in the Watchmen universe through the lens of these new characters and some returning old characters, and it is just so well done. It is so well done. So if you really like Watchmen, I would definitely go and check that out. It is worth watching, and again, kind of like the movie and the TV series, I think they are more poignant now in the world we live in and the things we're
Yeah.
seeing than they were when they released. Not that they weren't important then, and not that some of these things or these ways of thinking weren't going on then, but
Sure.
they're so much more in the forefront now. They're on everybody's minds now. They're in the news and in our social media now, that I think it's more important now than it was when it came out. Or maybe
Yeah.
people should have taken it as like a cautionary tale when it came out. Maybe we wouldn't be
Yeah.
where we are now. Yeah.
I remember
Who's to say?
loving the HBO series.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I remember loving
So good. Regina King as
Yeah.
Sister Knight needs her own like comic book series. Is just an ass kicking nun who's also a cop. So good.
And Regina King is just like top notch.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the only other person that I
Notch.
would have bought playing that might have been Viola Davis, but Regina King is so good in that. So good.
Totally.
Well, we're going to take a break and hear a word from our sponsor.
Can't wait.
I can't wait. I'm going to... Well, no, I shouldn't say anything. I'm going to play you this ad now.
Okay. I'm so excited.
The hype is real.
The hype is. I mean, yeah, like you got a big measuring stick to live up to now.
I'm so ready. I'm so ready.
From the visionary hero who brought you This Is Sparta and every single scene in Sucker Punch comes the event of the century, if you've got the time. And you will, 'cause we'll make it. Introducing Slow Motion by Snyder. Take your time, we certainly will. Now you can turn every moment into a Snyder-level emotional event, because nothing says importance like pointlessly prolonging every second. With Slow Motion, we encourage you to blink. Trust us, you won't miss a thing. Mom pours coffee at 1 frame per hour. Kid catches a frisbee like it's a Greek tragedy. Grandpa blinks thoughtfully into eternity. It's like a freeze frame, where even God says, "Is this almost done?" Every glance, every breath, every grocery store checkout now takes 3.5 minutes longer. Slow Motion by Snyder, now available on 2 VHS tapes, because one simply isn't enough. Call in the next 5 hours, because that's how long this sentence will take to finish, and receive the Slow Motion soundtrack on cassette. Just 45 minutes of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah at a quarter of the speed. Hurry now, or don't. Slow Motion by Snyder, because time's just another character in this cinematic universe.
Well,
Oh, sir.
What did I just watch? What was that? What was that?
Nah,
it's a sick, twisted
I'm gonna
mind.
tell
that's
you
what
right
that is.
now. Okay, firstly, not as good as Banff. Banff was something special that I think cannot be recreated. But with that said,
And I'd agree with you.
this was a Hamill, my friend. That was done so well.
Yes.
That was really funny.
Yes. That's all I wanted.
It was really funny. I mean, I'm just a little speechless.
Yeah.
Because,
There's no words.
I guess I got to go with Hamill too.
A double Hamill, Chris.
I mean, just to like have me be so.
Yep.
I have no words.
So I said to him, I came up with the ad, and I think I need to make it. Because normally we'll just read the thing and try to make each other laugh. But I'm like, this is going to lose something if you don't have it in slow-mo. And then I started looking up, like, how can I slow my voice down as I'm reading this? And then I realized, no, this is an experience because Snyder slow-mo is quite the experience.
It is.
So,
yeah.
It
That was
sure
really,
is.
really good. Really funny.
But
Well done. Well
Thank
done.
you.
Very happy
Thank you.
with that one.
there's some very, very bad things in this movie.
Dramatic.
Dramatic.
All right, I'm gonna
have to listen to what you guys have to say about it because I feel like I said my bad. I'll probably like hear what you say.
Yeah, I actually don't have too much. Chris, you probably have more than I do
really.
because I decided not to get petty with this.
Oh, okay. I didn't. I got like 4 things.
Okay. Yeah, that's about what well, no, I have more than that. I'll go first.
Yes, let's hear it.
As with the ad, there's too much dang slow-mo.
Disagree.
That's a Snyder stylistic choice. It's like every scene. So I slow it down. Okay, let's pause for effect. Let's dramatize this a little bit
But
more.
again, that
like,
helped
use
make it
it
look
right.
like the panel of a comic book. Is when you see, when they slow down the comedian going through the window, or when they slow down,
That's
that
when it
kind of
worked.
stuff.
Right.
That's when it worked, but you don't think it worked every time?
It's actually, you know what? I should not punish the movie for the director's MO. He does that in everything he does.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
it's
Tim Burton with stripes and eyeliner. It's just
it's
part
just
of
gonna show
it's
up.
part of the look. That's going to be included if their name is attached.
Yeah. All right. This connects to something Lex said earlier. I felt like there was a lot of dialogue expo. Like it was just dumping after dumping after dumping. And at first I gave it a pass where I was like, look, I don't know the world. I need this. So, it's not Marvel. It's not flashy and punchy and, easily recognizable.
Yeah.
But after a while it was like, no, you're info dumping again.
Yeah, it's dense. I mean, that's like, I feel like it's just a lot.
It's not for everybody.
It's 3 hours long. It feels like it's 5 hours long.
Right. Dr. Manhattan's wardrobe decisions.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah. Or lack thereof.
Did we really need it?
Yeah, his big blue junk. I don't
Yeah,
understand
it's
why
not subtle.
when you see him in Vietnam and you see like giant Dr. Manhattan, he's got that like black Speedo on. Why doesn't he just wear that all the time? And I feel that's the same thing as in the book. Like there are scenes where his blue junk is just there for the world to see, and other times he's wearing the black Speedo. Just wear the Speedo, man. Like I know that you don't relate to humanity anymore, but nobody needs to compare themselves to your blueness.
Yes.
I'm just cracking up because it's like I'm kind of indifferent about it. I get it, but I just love how bothered you guys are. It's like just wear the Speedo.
It's an odd choice by the good doctor, and nobody else seems bothered by it. Like nobody else ever talking to him is like, so here's where we're at with experiments.
Right.
Nobody else is like uncomfortable by this.
Well, yeah, it's almost like the screenplay guy was like, "Oh, it won't be distracting at all. Trust me."
In fact,
Really?
people will enjoy
That's
it.
all we're looking at.
Like, okay. I felt like the emotional end felt flat. Like the
Oh,
world
yes.
unites over a lie, but it's so bleak that you forget to care about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lack of connection, and maybe that's just a meta version of Dr. Manhattan. But by the time we got to the end, it was too dense, it was too graphic, and I didn't make that connection. So by the time we got to the finale, it was like, I guess we're done.
Yeah, I agree with that, actually. I just rewatched it before we hopped on here, just the end part of it again, and I was just like, it does fall flat. It just falls flat for me. I don't like the acting. I mean, I might just be like, I don't like the acting of our give me the name of the guy, not Rorschach's friend. I forget his name.
Patrick Wilson,
What is he?
Night Owl.
Yeah. I just didn't like the acting.
I don't like him in general.
Same.
He was
This wasn't
in
believable.
he was in Phantom. He was in Aquaman.
He was
Everything
Raoul
he
in Phantom.
shows up, I'm like, I just
he
don't
was-
like you.
Ocean Master.
Yeah, I didn't.
You know, if you want to enjoy something he did, he actually did guest vocals on a song by the metal band Ghost
Oh, really?
called "Stay With Me," and it actually sounds pretty. It's pretty terrific.
No, maybe he's in the wrong lane. Maybe Theater Kid is not for you.
Maybe.
Last thing. That sex scene
Yeah.
to Leonard Cohen's masterpiece on an owl ship while it's literally on fire. Humanity did not need this.
The song was just that was the weird choice for me.
I don't think this is what Dr. Leonard Cohen had in mind when he wrote one of the greatest songs of all time. I just don't. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Interesting. I don't feel like I had a major response to it, to be honest.
I wasn't uncomfortable. I know what the story is trying to do. It's trying to show that they need connection. That she doesn't have it with Dr. Manhattan. He doesn't have it because of the dopamine hit of crime. And so they find it within each other. Wonderful. Find another song. That's my issue. Leave my song alone. It's one of my top 5 songs.
I get it.
Yeah.
The song choice was weird, especially because every other song works so perfectly where it's placed.
That's what it is.
This just feels like all the songs in the world, even all the songs just of that time period that you're working in, of like the 60s and 70s,
Yeah.
like, come on. It had to be something.
Like play Scarborough Fair by Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah. This is one of those places where I wish we could talk to the director, because it's like I would love to know what was the reason for that choice.
For what reason, Chris?
For it to be so, outside of the box from the other choices, for it to stick out so much like a sore thumb, right? Like, what was the reason when you were looking through the options that was the one?
I would want to do that, but at the same time, I would be afraid that the answer would be like, oh, I just really like the song and I didn't know where else to put it. So
well, and that's the thing, right? Like if he is looking through the catalog of the early 60s, early 70s, and he was going for, well, I need recognizable IP, that's going to piss me off even more. So I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Just don't touch my song. That's it.
That's it for you.
You took my two of my big things were Dr. Manhattan and Hallelujah. And both of you guys kind of, I disagree, but both of you guys kind of covered that it was longer than many people would want from a movie. But as somebody who already enjoys Zack Snyder's work and already enjoys the source material, I knew going into it that this would be a lengthy thing. So
Right.
for me, the biggest thing, so this is really my, too bad. I'm a big animal lover, and you killed Bubastis, and that hurt my soul a little bit. And I know that he felt remorseful about it, but I don't like seeing animals unduly harmed in movies. Yeah, don't like it. I didn't know Rorschach killed 2 dogs as well. Didn't like that. The animals don't need to get hurt. The animals always need to survive to the end. I don't care what kind of movie it is.
I'm with you on that.
That needs to happen.
Did you ever watch Homeward Bound as a kid?
Oh God.
Yeah, they all survive.
They all survive, right?
That's the point.
That's another one.
I think, and I know I said this already, but not only because of the political and social messages that are in this movie, I think that similar to a movie in 1999, that 2 movies actually in 1999, Mystery Men and The Specials, they almost were parodies of superhero movies and superheroes before they were big. So when we got Watchmen, we only really had Iron Man, a couple of X-Men, a couple of Spider-Man movies, but they weren't what they are now. I think that Watchmen would have worked so much better as this commentary on what it means to be a hero, and anti-heroes, and this darkness, and can you only get a thrill by fighting crime, where's the line, all these things, in a post MCU DCEU world.
It would work particularly well right now.
It would work really well right now, and I think it was too soon.
I think you have a delineation line of 2012's Avengers. Like, and not just from world building, but from what is a good superhero movie. Like, we're gonna talk about, pre MCU films, on this podcast sometime next year. But I really have been doing the math, and it's like, you can draw the line with what they could get away with and what worked, and then what you look back on and you go, actually, no, that would work really well here, but we didn't have the Avengers. And it really did draw the line to say, no, this is how you make a good movie. And it's not like, I think correct me where I'm wrong, what this movie is suffering from is that there was no comic book movie genre. Obviously it existed,
Yes.
but it didn't exist the way that it does.
It wasn't in the zeitgeist of just pop culture the way it is now, where people could watch Watchmen and Mystery Men and The Specials now and be like, I understand, I get that reference. I understand that reference and what they're talking about.
Yeah, this isn't fighting for where does this rank with superhero movies. This is fighting for its existence.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it's so layered and it's so commentative and it's so really well done. But at the time, it was just lost.
Yeah, so that's my biggest issue, is that it almost shot itself in the foot by
coming out when it came out.
Because I think culturally and movically, it would have made more sense for people and for movies now than it did, what would it have been, 15 years ago now? 14 years ago?
Movically? Okay.
I agree with that, Chris.
Thank you. That feels validating.
Well, I will not validate you. Lex, what kind of spiritual stuff did you find in this film?
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
All right. Oh boy. So this is what I have. This is what I wrote down. Salvation through control rather than compassion. I feel like, there's a lot going on in this film, but I think what particularly stands out to me when I think about my spirituality, what I tend to, one of the many things I struggle with when I look at, some of the conservative belief systems, it's sort of like the way that I save you is by controlling you.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that is, if we are called to love, and love is patient and kind, it is not forceful. And I think this is where, the movie did a good job of sort of having, this character wanting to save everybody by using control.
We're talking about Ozymandias, right?
Yeah, yes. And I think it's like, it lives in that space too of like, it's a tough love. Like, tortured by this calling to do what I feel is correct and right, which is that's your worldview. Like, that is still just from your perspective. And so it's also, I think for me, brings up these questions of, who are the heroes? Who are the villains? Depending on where you stand and how you see it, that shifts. And also tying into that, like, I love that statement, who watches the Watchmen? So depending on the society we're in and where we are, these are the people that we put on the pedestal and we look to, and we allow for them to make the rules. And once they have that power, power corrupts. And so eventually, in some way, shape, or form, something sneaks in there, because we're human. Who watches them? Where are the checks and balances? I just think that.
And does the end justify the means?
So, that's sort of my first take at it, and like what stands out to me.
I love that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's so poignant, and
that's better than what I have. Let's just keep talking about that idea because it's better than my stuff.
No. It was kind of hard for me to spit out too, because I'm like, it's just kind of, it's big. It's a huge.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's one of the things that I love about this movie is that there's a lot of big ideas here that I think that people miss out on because they're unduly critical of the director or the stylistic choices, or that it's superheroes that they've never heard of or a comic book they've never heard of. But I think that you miss a lot of the big ideas and big stuff that are like conversation worthy in this story by dismissing it as either just another comic book movie or too much, But
yeah.
Right.
I'll go next because mine actually piggybacks a little bit on Lex's thought. So in video editing with clients, I have a phrase that I use, which is you can have it good, you can have it cheap, or you can have it fast. You can pick two of those, and that means you lose the third. So if you want it good and cheap, it's not going to be fast. If you want it cheap and fast, it's not going to be good. And if you want it good and fast, it's not going to be cheap. Clients always say, but I want all three. And I say, no, you can't have that. Mm-hmm. Watchmen is what happens when you take three things, but you only get one of them, and you lose out on the other two. So you take God out of morality, and you still try to play savior. The scripture that came to mind was Micah 6:8, which we're all probably familiar with. It says, he has shown you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you but to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. And so God gives us these three things: do justice, love mercy, walk humbly. You got to do all three. Now, Watchmen, I think, nails the justice part, but I think it forgets the other two. And that's kind of the spiritual tragedy that I think we find ourselves in today. It's like when you take mercy out of your justice, when you take humility out of your justice, all you're left with is exactly what Lex said: control. And you look at any movement, you look at any social justice component that's trying to fight the wrongs of society, the wrongs of politics, the wrongs of social and cultural issues, the ones that give you the bad taste in your mouth, they seek justice, but there's no humility and there's no love. And I think this verse just sort of reminds us that you kind of need all three if you're going to aim at what I think great movements are aimed at, which is restoring the world. So that's kind of what popped out. It was like, look, you've got the right idea here, but you're missing the two other components that actually create a holistic society, that actually create whole relationships, and that actually move the needle forward.
That's really good.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too, the thought of like, why do we not trust God to change the hearts? Like, I think there's also, how do I want to say it? It's like, I'm going to take it upon myself.
Yeah.
Right. Me, human, to do the work that, because clearly I can't just lean on God to believe that if that person's heart is meant to change, or something is meant to change there in whatever way, that God can do that work with or without me.
Oh, yeah.
I am in service. I am a vessel in service, not, I think this also for me brings up a lot of that, you know, savior complex, God complex type stuff,
Yeah, like, and I love that word service. Like, we are in service, but we're not the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
We're not the ones who do any of the life change. We're supposed to be witnesses. We're supposed to plant seeds, but we're not the one who actually does anything. That's the work of God. The issue is we think we're God. And so now this becomes a control thing where it's like, well, if only you properly understood my opinion, then you'd see it my way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we would never say that, but that's what we're doing. So, what you got there, North?
Well, to jump in on some of that stuff there, there's a scene after Rorschach is arrested where he's in with a psychiatrist who, eventually prods him into, revealing some of himself. And he gets to a point where he tells this story about this horrible criminal he found who had kidnapped and murdered a young girl and fed her to the dogs. And, it was this horrible thing. And he lost control and committed these terrible acts of violence against this, despicable person. And eventually got to the point of saying God doesn't make the world this way, we do. And it led me down this path of evil not being an independent force that exists. It's not an autonomous entity. It needs a host. And God allows it to take a host or several hosts in order to use it. He doesn't cause it, but he uses it maybe to, we're not always going to understand it, but it may be to enhance his idea of mercy, teaching people to walk humbly, give people opportunities to show justice. We're not going to understand why God allows evil things to happen, but our job is not to understand it. Our job is to control our choices and whether or not we become a host to it. Is there a redemptive purpose to evil being allowed in the world? I think that there can be. I think that can be really hard to wrestle with. For people who believe in God, for people who are Christians, for people of any faith, I think it's really difficult to wrestle with the idea of why does my God, my deity, allow evil things to happen. And I think that, Paul says it's an opportunity for God to show mercy. And that's true to a degree, but it's hard to contend with. But I think that the main takeaway from it is that we are in control of our choices and whether or not we let ourselves become a host for that evil or for what God chooses to make good. So I think that our choice is going to be what makes the difference there.
Yeah,
I love it.
me too.
See, there's some deep stuff in this movie.
I mean,
Wasn't as bad as I thought.
and that's just a few things that we touched on. We could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go on and on about what it says politically, socially, about comic books and what it says about the government, what it says about the American people, the world, war, hatred, love. There's so much.
Speedos.
There's Speedos and why they may or may not
Lack
be
of
necessary.
Speedos.
Lack of them.
Does being blue mean you don't need to wear pants? Maybe.
It's not easy being blue.
But that's something that, requires deep discussion to get through.
And what does the Lord require of thee but to wear pants?
I mean, I feel like that's
in
the
the
bare
Bible.
minimum. The bare minimum.
The bare
love you
minimum.
guys.
Nice. Chris, what'd you rate this?
Well, you're gonna hate me, but I mean this is one of my favorite movies. This is one of my favorite comic book movies, and like you've heard us say already, there's so much to this that it's hard to not find something new every time you see it. For me, this is a Conroy.
What?
This is a near perfect adaptation of a comic book, which has not been done before or really since. And he took the time to take what was on the page
Oh,
and
he took
really
his
show
time.
it for what it was. Yes, he took his time. Look, it is not for everybody, and I completely understand that. But for me, it is top tier Snyder. It's top tier film and storytelling, and especially comic book movie. So that's what it is for me.
All right. What do you think, Lex?
It's like I want to say Bale because no, I want to say Keaton. I want to say great, but I think it's got to be. Can there be like a Keaton minus?
Oh yeah. Chris does it all the time. Drives me nuts.
It's got to be somewhere in the middle there.
Yes, I introduced the concept of pluses and minuses.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Keaton minus. Like it's up there. They did the thing, but there are some flaws.
That's fair.
And because of said flaws, I can only give it a Bale. It's good. It's got some issues. It's got some really great things. I'll watch it again. But it's not a great film. It's a good film. At least for me. But audience, what did you think about Watchmen? Drop us a comment on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and let us know about your favorite blue Department of Internal Affairs.
Please don't let me know. I don't want to know about your favorite anything. That is your business and your preference, and whatever
It
colors
is your
you like to
situation.
engage in is all for you.
This is actually a better Avatar than the movie Avatar.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that movie.
Lex, where can people find your work and your stuff and your socials and all that?
I mean, I guess the only plug I can say for right now is, I'm at Paper Mill, and so you could always go to Paper Mill and check out what we've got going on there, like our season shows, check out some of the programs that we're running. I'm specifically in education outreach, and so, welcome to look into that. People who are interested in taking classes, that's the place to go if you're nearby. Yeah.
Love it. We will link it all in the show notes.
But make sure you go check out Noah Slade's music. I don't know his handle offhand.
Yeah, Noah Slade _
No,
is I think his public account.
at Noah Slade _ So make sure you go check him out. Check out his music.
Or Noah. The other one is Noah K Protozoa. Noah K Protozoa is where he's got his like new music.
All right.
Thank you for thinking of that because
All right.
he's cool and he does have public profiles.
Well, we will make sure we throw
love
those in the show notes, and you can find links to them in places around that Joey puts. But thank you for watching. Lex, thank you for joining us once again on this
Thank you for having me.
late night after dark episode.
It was a delight having you on and not being the only one to argue with Chris.
Thank you.
Well, this will not be the last time.
Chris, take us out of here.
So on our way out, remember kids, who watches The Watchmen? We did. Just
we
now
did.
for this episode. And you also should.
10 hours later.
Go enjoy it. Watch it, read it, have fun. Bye.
Did you say 10 hours later?
I did.
You know, it would take you 10 hours to read all of the Watchmen material that there is, too. There's also a companion, like a Watchmen companion, that gives you like a breakdown of all the, stuff they talk about.
I think if you sped up all the slow-mo stuff, this would be about 45 minutes.
Oh my God.
Listen, let me tell you.
Maybe.
Let me tell you, there are several versions of Watchmen, okay? So
What is this, Lord of the Rings?
Security.
No.